Here are 4 surprising biblical traits that mean a man is a keeper. Number 1, a gentleness that the world often mistakes as weakness is a sign that he's a keeper. A lot of women say that they want a gentle man, but they also have been subtly led astray by culture on what it means to be strong versus gentle. So they feel like there's this dichotomy that a gentleman isn't actually what a strong, masculine, stereotypical man must be. So they believe that there's this choice. I can either have a gentle guy or I can have a strong guy. And that's usually the aggressive, harsh, more masculine from the worldly perspective. And so while a woman wants both, she feels like she needs a strong man more because the world's a dangerous place. And she feels like, well, if I have to choose, I'd rather go with a strong man. But this is a false choice. It's a false dilemma that isn't really there when you understand that biblical gentleness is actually a sign of greater strength. Gentleness in Scripture doesn't mean that you're weak or that you allow people to harm others. It means that you have self-control and you're willing to treat people better than they deserve. But those other traits of protection and strength and just being able to take care of others, even to defend them against people who are evil, that is not a contradiction of gentleness. Those are just other traits. And so a godly man will possess both of those. And the real key here is that when a man is acting strong in the worldly sense, the harsh, angry, quick to have a temper, that type of macho guy, that is actually based in insecurity. They're afraid of being seen as weak, and so they overcompensate with these worldly projections of strength. Whereas a man who has a true biblical strength and knows that he actually has what it takes, he knows he's God's son, he's not overly concerned with being perceived as gentle. Thus, he's free to actually act gentle because he knows he also has a true strength. 1 Timothy 6:11, but as for you, O man of God, flee these things. Pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, steadfastness, gentleness. Number 2, not expressing his feelings all the time is actually a surprising sign that he's a keeper. Perhaps the most common critique or complaint from women when it comes to men, particularly a man that a woman is starting to get to know and get serious with, is that they don't open up. They don't share their feelings with this woman like she wants. And it's natural. It's good for her to want to know this man. And by all means, he actually does need to open up. He actually does need to express his feelings. So I will balance this point out in a second here. So he does need to express his feelings. He does need to let the woman know what he's thinking. He needs to verbalize his affection for her. Those are all good things that a woman truly needs from a man. However, oftentimes a woman over applies this good idea of a man who can share his feelings, and they start looking for a man who really can't be a man anymore because they're over applying this desire for this man to always express his feelings. So a man who's always needing to express everything he's feeling is actually going to be a failure in this world. Yes, again, he needs to express his feelings. There's a balance to what I'm saying. He does need to talk about how he feels about you. But a man who's always complaining about his day, who needs to tell you every time he gets angry at someone at work, he needs to always let you know when he's having a bad day, he needs to always verbalize every little emotion he's having, is honestly not acting like a biblical man. So again, keeping this balanced, yes, we need to share each other's burdens as Christians. Yes, this man should come to you sometimes and say, I'm going through something hard at work you should know about. I might be a little bit frustrated today. He might ask, hey, what do you think about this? So you guys can share counsel with each other. But that's different than a man who's slipping into a spirit of complaining and whining. That is not masculine. That is weakness. Proverbs 14:23, in all toil there is profit, but mere talk tends only to poverty. To see this point really clearly in Scripture, You can look at the life of Jesus, and there were certainly times in Jesus's life where he could have talked more than he did, but he actually chose to remain silent. This can be seen particularly with Herod. Herod wanted to see Jesus do a miracle. He's like, yeah, I'm glad Jesus is finally here. Do something for me. Jump, dog, jump. And Jesus was like, I'm just not going to respond to this. And that is a sign of strength, because whatever can make you do something is what has power over you. And so Jesus in those moments was showing that he has the authority over himself. I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to do what you say. I'm actually the king. And that is what a biblical man can do. He knows how to hold his tongue. This is why bullies like to tease and get a rile out of people and get them mad, and some sort of visible thing that they can see. Ooh, look, I'm getting this person mad at me. Ooh, look, I'm getting this person to want to fight me. And the bully feeds off of being able to manipulate people and get a response out of them. Satan does the same thing. He wants to pull the strings on people and get them to always be reacting to every little stimulus that he throws into our life as temptations and annoyances and all kinds of different things like that. So a masculine man just knows sometimes it's best just to be quiet. And that is a subtle sign that you have to look for. Yeah, sometimes you want him to be sharing his feelings more, but don't get it twisted. Sometimes the quiet man is actually the strongest man in the room. Number 3, healthy boundaries between him and his parents is a surprising sign that he is a keeper. Now, of course, we know, well, you should have healthy boundaries, but what does that actually look like? Because some women think, oh, that's really cute how close that man is to his mom, or oh, look how much he spends time with his parents still, and he does all this with them, and he's always going to them. That can be a sign of immaturity. Now, of course, in Scripture, we all as adults should honor our father and mother. So a biblical man is going to honor his father and mother. He's going to be involved in their life if, there's a healthy dynamic and they weren't like abusive and all of that when he was growing up. He's going to try to figure out ways that he can help them. That's all really great, but this is more about the emotional side, and the financial side. Is he dependent on them financially? Is he dependent on them in an unhealthy way emotionally? Can he make a choice without his mom's approval or his dad's blessing? Big picture, you just want to make sure that the man you choose can actually obey Genesis 2:18 with you. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And number 4, if this man is not pursuing you quickly, that could be a great sign that he's actually a keeper. When it comes to timing in relationships, I really do believe that there's a lot of room for subjectivity. So I'm not going to put, timelines on this. A man should pursue you this quickly or this slowly. I really think that there's not a right or wrong answer a lot of times when it comes to how quickly he should pursue, when he's saying things, when he's not saying things. God's going to lead some men to go slower for different variables in your life and in his life. God's going to lead some men to go faster because of the variables in his life and your life. So this isn't so much about the specifics. Rather, it's more so about the feeling that this man is causing you to experience as he's pursuing you. The Lord's going to give you discernment to know when he's pressing, when he's pushing, when he's being impatient. And when you get that vibe from a guy, that is not healthy. So a lot of times the guy who's going slower, although that might be harder for you because you like him so much, that guy is actually showing more maturity, because the guy who comes in hot and heavy and is all in right away, usually, not always, but usually those guys leave just as fast as they come. It's the guy who's actually taking time to really pray about this, to really weigh through it, to put in time and energy and to be patient. He's actually investing more in the relationship than the guy who just swoops in and hasn't really thought about it and just like, yeah, this is great, let's go for it. That's a lack of thought to it. And that shows this other guy who's really trying to be patient and think about it and do it in the biblical way. that is actually a better sign. Proverbs 19:2 teaches us, desire without knowledge is not good, and whoever makes haste with his feet misses his way. Here's a related video called 3 Signs God is Preparing a Quiet Man to Pursue You. I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com. I hope this was helpful, and until next time, God bless.